you're having a lot of hard skin building up in these areas, and this is what you'd like me to tackle for you today?
Yes, please.
Fine. Have you ever had a podiatry appointment before?
I haven't, no.
No? Okay, so this is going to be your first time. So I'm going to talk you through a little bit more about what we're going to do today before we actually start. So it's going to be antibacterial just to cleanse the skin.
Okay.
And thereafter I'll be using a scalpel technique to remove the dead skin.
Right.
So it's going to be removed from here, and at the bottom there. If it's uncomfortable at any time, tell me and I can just change that for you. So we're going to start off with the antibacterial first and then we'll get to the fun stuff. So tell me what's been happening and how long have you been having the hard skin building up?
I've always historically had calluses on the foot, but just from getting a normal pedicure, it's been sufficient to deal with it. But recently I've been having inflammation on the fat pad just underneath the big toe. I don't know if you can see. It's slightly,
just around this sort of area.
Yeah, it's more built up there. And my doctor hasn't been able to diagnose what's actually up or the cause of the inflammation. I mean, now it's not actually so inflamed, but it's been much more inflamed than this, and it looks like a build-up of skin, but they don't know if it's been infected or they don't really know what the issue is. So I've had an X-ray and it's nothing to do with the bones or
that's a good sign.
The structure of the foot, but it causes a very consistent dull pain whenever I'm walking on it. At the moment it's not so bad.
And when I compress or touch it like that,
it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
How's that feeling so far?
It feels fine. It feels like a little tickle.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be good to get what these MRI results say, and then we'll find out what's happening. Because I'll be able to read a little bit more about what's happening in terms of the structures, ligaments, and muscles and so forth. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit worrying when you don't know what the issue is. So I did a yoga teacher training course about 2 years ago. Okay. And I had the same inflammation then, and they treated it with antibiotics, and that was very effective.
Fine.
Whereas this time round, it's been not responsive to antibiotics. So the doctors actually said that they don't want to give me any more antibiotics.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't seem to be treating the cause of the problem. So yeah, I'm just here to get a bit of support for that, really.
No, that's absolutely fine. So you did a training course for yoga, you said?
Yeah, so I trained as a teacher a few years ago.
And do you practice now?
I do practice now. I mean, obviously I've had to take a bit of a step back because of the inflammation on the foot, so my practice has changed quite a lot. So a lot of things that require balancing on one leg, whereas the left leg is it's just not very stable, so I don't like to do any one-legged balances on the left leg. Yeah. The right leg's fine, but then I can't do the equal practice on either sides. Absolutely. Otherwise I end up looking like Terminator on the right side of my body. And not having any stability on the left, so I've just had to take a step back really in terms of my own physical practice.
I think that's safer for you too, right? Because you don't know what's going on. It's best not to aggravate or cause more.
This is true.
More issues in that area, and obviously the pressure, the way it's distributed too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's in a good way. It's a great thing that you're teaching your students, because
I guess so.
You're teaching them that even though you have a pathology, as much as you want to do something, it's better to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Focus on other areas first.
This is true.
So do you practice in London or is it elsewhere?
I practice. I live in Peckham, so I practice around South East London. I teach around South East London as well.
That's fantastic. I can't even touch my toes. Probably should be able to, but I really can't.
Yeah, I think people have a big misconception that yoga is all about flexibility, but it's not really. I mean, even if you're just breathing, that can be your yoga practice. But it's very frustrating when you're kind of used to doing a certain type of practice and then you have an injury and having to accept your own mortality, really, when it comes to these things.
Oh, bless you. There's I think there's one pose that is one of my favourites, and I can't remember if I'm getting the name right, so feel free to correct me. But is it called a dead man's pose or
Shavasana.
something? Yep, is that the one? And you just lie down?
Yeah.
You just breathe? I was like,
I think that's the best one for most people. It's like, should we just skip the practice and go straight to Shavasana?
I remember the first time I did that, and they were like, lie down on your back, start breathing, and I was like, I can do this.
Yeah, corpse pose is nice.
And then one of my friends, she could do the one where you put all the pressure onto your hands and your legs are crossed and you swing in between.
Right.
I was blown away.
Yeah, there's a lot of upper body strength, right?
That is fantastic. I was like, wow, you just created your own man-made swing. How's that feeling?
Yeah, it feels absolutely. It feels quite nice and relaxing actually.
Good.
A little miniature foot massage.
Miniature foot massage.
Does the callus look a lot worse in that area?
It's a lot better than I would anticipate from what you've told me the history of.
Yeah.
So I'm quite impressed. And there's still flexibility in the skin as it's taken away. Whereas predominantly after something like that, it's quite solid and I don't get the chance to sort of manipulate the skin. But I can do this quite happily. And that doesn't give me any pain, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's no pain.
Which is excellent. And now when I go to touch all the surrounding areas, it's almost like the healthy skin almost feels like it's connected quite happily to where you've had the callus.
Okay, that's
good. Which is a really good sign.
Do you think there's fluid in it?
It doesn't really feel as fluid-based as I would expect. Because when there's a lot of fluid retention, you'll see a lot more of this swelling and I'll be able to compress and you can feel it kind of moving. But when I press it here, it almost feels the same as if I touch on the other
rest
aspects.
of the skin. Yeah. Okay.
So can't rule that out, unfortunately. My eyes are not microscopes or MRI machines, but just in terms of what I can feel right now, it does feel relatively quite normal.
Okay, well that's good.
So that's a good sign. Yeah. So I'm just going to tackle the top part here as well. So you'll feel the same sort of sensation.
Okie dokie.
We'll be using the machine a little bit later.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain a little bit about what it does. So it makes a bit of a loud noise.
Right.
B, it might tickle ever so slightly. And what it does, it gets rid of any superficial layers of the skin that the scalpel's not going to be able to remove.
Right, okay.
So you'll get a very clean sort of feel. And any areas that are slightly too thin, will kind of clear that away too.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
It's really fascinating watching you do it.
It's fun for me.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's quite good. And maybe you could bend the foot slightly this way. Thank you. I love it. You can move so freely. And I'm going to tackle this little area because you have a bit building up on that side too.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's probably the compensation from you having to get off on that side.
More supinating on the side of the toe.
Yeah. And are you working today? Are you off?
I am going to work afterwards. Yeah, it's going to be a long day for me.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
And does your job require a lot of standing?
I do stand, yeah. So this is, my work have been very supportive and I have got a chair and I can sit at work.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm customer facing, so it does require quite a lot of standing. We did have 2 departments in my work. We were in 2 different locations, so it meant I was running around all over the place. Wow. But we've just gone back to 1, so that makes my life a little bit more straightforward, yeah. Logistically, there's less running around, so that's good.
Perfect. So we've tackled the main areas of concern. You do have a little bit of callus that's sort of sitting in these areas. They're getting far too thin for the scalpel to remove.
Right, okay.
So that's when I'm going to be using the device on that to just re-clean it out.
Okay.
I'm going to focus now down towards the heel.
Okay.
So you do have a lot that's sort of in this region.
Yeah.
And going all the way there. So we're going to do that bit.
Okay.
And then we'll use the machine afterwards. Okay, so again, I'm going to let you know how it feels, because even though it's a different part of the body, you probably think it's going to be a little bit more strange, but that should feel relatively quite comfortable.
No, it feels nice.
Yeah? Perfect.
Yeah, I noticed that the heel was quite built up.
Do you get any pain down here?
No, nothing at all. It's all just around the big toe, and the fat pad there.
Have you had any cracks in the heels in the past?
Not really, not that I can remember, or not that I've noticed. Maybe after a very hot holiday a few years ago, where I walked on very hot sand. But not since then. I mean, that was just stupidity on my part, really.
Oh, bless you. I always say wear flip-flops or a sandal or something if it's hot sand.
I didn't even think about it until I got back and noticed.
Always. Do you moisturise when you go on beach holidays?
Oh no. Maybe I should.
I like the honesty there. Yeah. Always moisturise when it comes to going to anywhere hot or cold, because both extremes will affect the heels.
You forget about the feet though, really, don't you?
Don't say that to me.
I might not forget after this. But
it's funny how everyone says that.
I mean, even because we remember to moisturise our hands, right? But especially when it gets to colder weather and the hands start to show the signs of cracking, but you don't really think about your feet too often.
I think because they're hidden, that's my theory. My theory is you don't see them enough, they're not exposed as much in the winter. You get to tuck them away in between socks and boots and all these things that you don't necessarily think about them until something happens, and then everyone's like, there's an issue.
That's it. Until one part of your body doesn't function as it's meant to, and then you're all of a sudden very aware of it, right?
Yep. Whereas if your hands, if you notice a slight bit of dryness, you're like, oh, I need a moisturiser.
Yeah.
How's that feeling? Is that
it feels lovely, yeah.
Good. So that's actually feeling a lot better now.
Cool.
It's just a little bit left on the sort of the under part of the heel, which we call the calcaneus.
Right.
I'm not sure if you've heard of that term before.
Calcaneus. It rings a very familiar bell from anatomy, but if you gave me a map of the foot and told me to point
the bone of the
heel.
Right. So for short, we'd normally class this as the calc.
Right.
But in a more easier term, it's just the heel.
Okay.
A lot better. I think why complicate things if you don't have to, right? Still a lot coming off just from underneath.
Okay.
So, much better. There we go. We are good. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right. Now, as I said, I'm going to pop a few safety devices on first.
Okay.
And I'll be doing the part here, which again tickles and vibrates services.
Okay.
Some people love it, some people find it too ticklish, so it'll be interesting to see how you find it.
Okay.
If you move your feet by yourself, can you feel the movement back into the feet?
Yeah.
A little bit more flexible?
Yeah. It feels a little bit lighter.
Good.
Which can't be a bad thing.
No. All in a day's work, right? Perfect. So, I'm going to start now. I'm going to start on a small aspect over here first.
Okay.
And then let me know how it feels and I'll move everywhere else. So I'll come back to that bit at the end. I'm going to do this one first. Then I'm going to go down to the heel and then I'm going to come back to the top.
All right.
Okay. How was that?
Yeah, it's fine. I can whisper. I can't really feel it.
Perfect.
It just kind of tickles a little bit.
Tickles, right?
Yeah.
Down after the heel.
Feels nice and relaxing.
Now I'm going to start off on the top over there. Same principle.
Okay.
Not too ticklish in that case.
No. I was trying to control myself.
And just another spray of the antibacterial.
Okay.
Much better. So you see the movement come back inside, so it should feel a little bit better. Same principle. There, perfect. It's all clear.
Thank you so much.